visited several locations to tell the story of Pearl Harbor. Now there's only 2 more that we need to see. We are here at National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, known as Punchbowl. It is one of the most beautiful spots on Oahu, situated in an ancient volcanic crater high above Hawaii's capital, Honolulu.
We're now near the graves of Ensign Louis Stockdale, as well as Chief Vernon Luke. Both men died on December 7, 1941, with 427 other sailors when the battleship USS Oklahoma was torpedoed and sank in the harbor. Their remains were brought here and buried in graves marked unknown.
But I don't understand. These graves have names on them. How did they identify them?
Well, just recently, they were able to identify them through the DNA process. The Defense POWMIA Accountability Agency believes that 80% of the unknown remains from the USS Oklahoma can be identified within 5 years. Lewis and Vernon's families chose to have them reburied at Punchbowl with their own graves. Even 75 years after the attack, we're learning and making new history about that infamous day.
So why do you think it's important that we remember these victims from so long ago?
Oh, it's very important that we do, because we got to remember the names of all those people that sacrificed their lives, during World War II. Julia, there's one more place that we've got to go. We saw it at a distance the other day, but we got to visit the USS Arizona Memorial.
In 1962, 21 years after the attack, a memorial was built on top of the sunken USS Arizona. The remains of approximately 900 sailors still rest inside. More than 1 million people from around the world visit this site every year, many of them from Japan, to pay their respects to those who died in the attack and to learn more about World War II history. You know this is a special place for reflection and contemplation as soon as you step onto the platform. The ship is visible while standing on the memorial, and oil still leaks from the ship to this day. The shrine marks and remembers the 1,177 servicemen lost on the ship on that day of infamy.
Here at the National World War II Museum in New Orleans, I learned that the attack on Pearl Harbor stayed in the memories with all the Americans throughout the war and inspired many to do their part on the home front and battlefront. In World War II, the United States faced a tough adversary in Japan. From Pearl Harbor to the end of the war in August 1945, the United States fought the Japanese in dense jungles, on barren islands, on the sea, under the sea, and in the air, all the way to Japan's doorstep. That doesn't even include the fighting in Europe against Germany.
The attack on Pearl Harbor united our country and spurred the United States to fully join this global struggle. It was a total war for many nations and a conflict that would change the world. Including the 2,400 who died during the attack on Pearl Harbor, more than 400,000 Americans would make the ultimate sacrifice during the course of the war. In total, an estimated 65 million people died in World War II, making it the deadliest conflict in all of human history.
The outcome of the war still echoes in our world today.
We pay tribute to those sacrifices that the Americans made and to the lives that were lost.
And so today, 75 years later, we remember Pearl Harbor because it is an important part of our American history.